Stand here, McWarriors, and welcome back to another episode of RogueTech as we continue the campaigns of Howl's Harrows. And last time, well, we finally debuted the Charger. I'm going to admit it wasn't quite the debut that I was kind of hoping for, where it would wade into battle against Atlases and annihilate them with its twin boomsticks, but hey, you all know that we have it and just how good that it can be. And, well, we have an Atlas and a champion currently in need of build. We need a lot of cash for that. We have the stuff. We don't have the money to put the stuff on the things, and that becomes a little bit more difficulty. So in essence of trying to get that, secure the borders. Commander, Davian surveillance team have picked up what we believe to be the signature of an active patrol of pirate mechs engaging in reconnaissance near the borders of our holdings on this planet. This is technically not a violation of our sovereignty, but it's clearly provocative. We need you to send a message by destroying the patrol of mechs. Should you encounter any other pirate units, there will be a bonus for destroying those as well. This will be one of 5 priority salvage, 1.1247 million C-bills at 3 skill difficulty, and we're dropping down 7 mechs. So let's see if we can have a little bit of fun with these guys and wipe them out as we prepare for the maximum of contact. A bit of a hike in order to get over there, and it is just absolutely pouring raining cats and dogs. So today we have Death Crusade driving our triple PPC Lament, Jester as usual in the Racketar, Finn driving the Catapult 3 with its Risk MML 20s, Howl in her Gauss Wolf Paradox driving the Charger. I wanted something way cooler for you to begin with, but you know what this is going to have to do. Monkeybirding Kerensky's stick, and of course the Thanatos with Coach for its point defense systems, which we're going to turn on immediately, because I don't feel like getting shot at if we happen to run into 8 million AMS, or not AMS, LRM units, or some sort of equivalent of thermal bolts. So we will begin to take this nice little road around the area. We should be able to follow it right into the enemy, so that'll actually help out quite a bit, because driving on the road gives you a little bit of a movement buff, which is always quite handy, especially if you happen to be in a slower mech. However, our slowest mech is, well, not going to be the Charger. 400 radius fusion core. This sucker keeps up with the catapults. That's pretty hilarious. Pair of boomsticks on board for twin LB-20X autocannons. In essence, however, they are 4 tons lighter, so we're saving 8 tons of weight. You would not be able to normally do this with a Charger, even if you stripped out most of the armor. Well, maybe actually if you did strip out most of the armor, you might have 8 tons of it to put on there, but you wouldn't have much left on the actual mech itself, and I kind of don't think that it would work at that point, because you'd probably die. But we have a basically fully armored mech with twin LB-20s at 80 tons with a 400 radius fusion core, and it's hilarious. The only thing that I kind of wish that I had been able to get onto that mech and wasn't quite able to was a mask. Because if I had put a mask on that thing, I would just be absolutely thrilled. Because then we could, on occasion, just sprint super fast. If I happen to find a couple of double bins for my LB-20 rounds, which we are still on the lookout for, by the way, then I might be able to throw in a supercharger, which normally only weighs 1 ton, which would help out a little bit. Looks like reinforcements are on the scopes, but we're dealing with a cicada, a warrior, what are you? I can't see you. There you are. A block, and a last one. You will reveal your secrets. There it was. I saw it for a moment. A Nightshade, not familiar with you. A light AC2 with armor-piercing rounds and a tag. Okay, that's not as nearly as I was afraid that I was actually going to end up running into. It actually makes me feel a little bit better about taking this one for mostly cash. I was really debating about going back and forth between taking this one for a ton of parts. It was 417 priority salvage, it would have been awesome. But in the end, I decided not to, and now I'm feeling really happy about that fact. We're not going to fire into it. 4% chance is not worth the chance for the weapons to jam. And instead, we'll just wait until we actually manage to get a couple more mechs in close. Now, the fun thing about that Charger, by the way, is, well, if we set its AC-20s to shotgun mode, cluster shells, then we can really rip into people who are trying to fly, because that's a lot of bullets flying around, and hopefully enough of them will actually impact the enemy. We also have located an Icarus 2. This is a Shades mech. Actually, it used to be Shades mech in our Mech HQ game, which I am still doing. The mech, in that he used to drive one with a modified to have an AC-10 on board. Was it modified, or did it always carry the AC-10? I don't quite remember. No, it must have always had the AC-10. No, these can't be. These have got to be machine guns. Icarus 2s are like 45 tons. So they're not exactly a ton, or 40 or 45 tons, 35 tons maybe. Not a lot of weight to go around in a mech like that, and so it does have to be somewhat careful about what it equips. And PPCs are incredibly heavy. Normally a mech that light would instead mount a PPC, because actually in terms of just efficiency of tonnage, when you factor in weight of the weapon, weight of the ammunition, and weight of the heat sinks required to make that weapon cold, I do believe the PPC actually outdoes the AC-10. I mean, it doesn't quite do it in space, but it's still pretty good. I saw a back shot on somebody. Who was it? It was you. I can therefore shoot into the back of the warrior, but I'm not really afraid of warriors, if I'm completely honest. I would prefer to move further forward and also get multiple side shots on a couple of targets in order to give you the best accuracy. So we could hit the cicada. It does have an Ultra AC5, which is actually pretty impressive for a cicada, and I'd like to have that Ultra AC5. Although honestly, I'd prefer it as a clan version. An AC5 with a machine gun firing 4 times. The accuracy is not so good on the helicopters. The Balak has a pair of streak MML5s, also not all that impressed, and the Icarus is a primitive version with large lasers and an unknown ballistic. Yeah, I think we shoot the cicada because it apparently is the most dangerous thing currently on the field. However, I am going to lay down a sensor lock onto, let's say, the Nightshade for his light AC2. Sure, why not? So he can have a little bit of a sensor lock bonus onto that, and we are going to open fire on the cicada. Triple PPC. Oh, 2 of them managed to hit. Looks like it actually looked like all 3 of them hit, but no, 1 in fact dissipated against the armor, causing no actual effect. However, the other 2 did manage to slam on into it, and it's only a cicada, so 2 PPCs to the arm is probably not exactly the healthiest thing they've ever done. Is that a Heliopolis? That's a Heliopolis, isn't it? So we're about to be bombarded from on far. Although depending on the version of the Heliopolis, it may actually be equipped with an arrow for artillery missile, which would be interesting, and we're actually in the market for building a mech like that. Gonna have to put some thought behind that. Yeah, at the end of the day, unfortunately, the only mech that I currently have spare that I can sort of, well, there's a couple of mechs I have spare, is currently not designed for artillery work. That, of course, means the Pulse Bolt, which I still have, and I'm very much considering selling now at this point, because the Pulse Bolt, while interesting and a pretty fun idea, is unfortunately somewhat limited. Can hit the Nightshade pretty effective, well, reasonably effectively. Let's be honest with ourselves, it's not going to be pretty effective. Do you have any sort of movement bonuses that you're currently working with? We moved and sprinted. The target's a long range, indirect fire, because apparently we can't see it, and we have no visual, which kind of goes along with the indirect fire. But you know what? We're going to spit a couple of missiles his way. Long range, see if we can't manage to something. We did get a couple of decent hits, so that's not terrible. However, we are going to need a little bit more direct fire in order to make the things count. There goes the large laser. It looks like the large and the medium sort of overlapped on each other. Looked very cool. I approve. Fortunately for us, also, he didn't manage to hit anything, so I approve even more. See if we can't bring the Gauss Wolf on forward. There is a target that it can take right on into the warrior or into the Balak. We'll fire at the warrior because why not? We have the ammunition to spare. Not quite sure where that first round went into. Please tell me you didn't shoot the back of a friend. You did not. Okay, good. Because that would have been both stupid and hilarious, but mostly stupid. So we're going to rush on forward with the Charger as well. The Charger not quite within range, but he will be soon. With all 80 tons of him, he's going to be in range. I think I've mentioned this before, but the other really fun thing about the boomstick is the fact that if I punch somebody with it, I get to then fire both of my cannons, which kind of just adds extra fun to the game, now doesn't it? We can, of course, also shoot the Thanatos' silver bullet. Oh, that's good accuracy. Let us dispense the love. Good hits on everybody, and looks like we got a penetrating hit, so that's not bad either. Unfortunately, it's still flying, but we will have to deal with that as things continue. I do kind of think that this is a primitive Heliopolis because, well, we're fighting the pirates, and, well, the Icarus was also a primitive mech, and we mostly seem to run into primitive Heliopolises. We don't often run into the hyper-advanced versions, although, except for that one mission where we almost lost everything. The Gauss Wolf, if I recall, was being held on by just a couple of pieces of armor. An archer as well, deciding not going to open fire on us, which I can only heartily approve of. I believe that they are making expert use of their tactics and weapons at their disposal, and we should not interrupt them as they continue to make those plans. We're also being strung out a little bit, but that'll be fine. Not the Icarus. The Lament should be able to shift over to the side, where it'll have a nice little hide in the forest and blast away with its PPC sniping going on. Oh, we managed to destroy a local pirate organization reinforcement. Who was that? Did we kill the cicada? No. Maybe? If we doubled up and hit him on the side and he had an XL engine, maybe. And I haven't been seeing any cicada. We may have actually accidentally killed the cicada. That would be more than a little hilarious, I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, but it's true. Cicadas are cannon fodder. Lament taking a little bit of long-range cannon fire. Looks like no actual managing to connections on that. However, that did not come from an archer. Those were bullets. Although they could have come from the VTOLs, which does explain a couple of things. So we do have the Heliopolis did manage to connect to us. You're the archer, and... oh, we have 2 Heliopoli. So now we're dealing with multiples of this. This could be interesting. Charger, it's time for you to charge into rage. Haha. So, hello, my friends with a 72% accuracy. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. One to slug, one to cluster. So you are getting the slug. Oh. And you, as soon as I can find you, because you're somewhere hidden in this malaise. Come on. Yes, that one. How do I select you? Because that is always the difficulty here. There we go. Alright. So the cluster, of course, is going to go into the Nightshade, which already has an open armor. The slug is going to go right into the warrior because I think it might actually work. So fire away. Hit him with the one. And clusters with the other. Did not quite manage to finish him off. A little bit disappointing, not gonna lie. However, we still managed to nail one VTOL with an AC-20 shell, which is always hilarious. Because it's just a big old cannon shell that goes right to the head. Getting fired up by the Icarus. Now, I do kind of want to save a lot of this intact. Potentially because I want to be able to, steal that one piece of equipment. I did, of course, take the 105, as is our habit at this moment. Do I want to save anything on the Icarus? No, it's all negative weapons. If I can run into somebody who's got a whole bunch of positive equipment, then we'll think about it. You have a sniper artillery piece, which might be worth robbing. You have a howitzer 2000, so you're totally worthless to me. We'll blow you up into little tiny pieces. Please kill the Nightshade. Whole bunch of missiles, and that managed to finish him off. Don't have to worry about his light AC-2. We could steal it if we wanted, but it's an AC-2 that deals even less damage than a normal AC-2. Yeah, the only other worse weapon than that would be, honestly, is probably the light rotary autocannon, which is a steaming pile of junk. Sorry, but it's true. It's just awful. You have streak MMLs, which means you might be very interesting to me. I'd like to hit you with multiple PPCs and kill you in one salvo, and then we'll go deal with your Icarus buddy. So that is the local reinforcements. They're not going to be reinforcing anything for the next little while, mainly because they're dead. If they get a respawn sometime in this life, then they may return to us. I kind of don't think that's going to happen. Send in the Gauss rifles. Oh, nailing the one, getting some good penetration on that, and a couple of the medium lasers as well. So we're being a multi-threat on this one. The Ragatar, if it can I could do it. I have the power. How much do I have the power? Oh, a great deal amount of power, actually. So, yeah, 79% accuracy. I'm going to throw in the Warlord just for the confirm, just to make sure. And goodbye, Icarus. That was just gorgeous. When this mech gets in there, when the Ragatar takes aim, all hell breaks loose. I'm loving it. I'm just loving it so much. So we've managed to remove their spotter, which now we get to move on forward with the rest of our mechs without having too much worry about the Heliopoli. That's the one. And yeah, we'll just continue to sprint on forward along the road. Our progress unimpeded. I suppose we are being spotted by this Heliopolis. So we should be somewhat careful. But yes, this weaker Heliopolis, the Inferiopolis, not quite sure how I should come up with a good sort of wordplay on that, but it is the inferior of the two Heliopoli. And incoming missiles, but nobody cares because we happen to bring in our own personal protection in the form of the Thanatos. 7 of 40. A little less than I was anticipating, but then again, you didn't get hit anyway, so I couldn't really complain, now should I? And the Superiopolis has come forward, firing his large laser, but not his sniper. We do want to save that sniper cannon, because snipers are worth a ton of money. Also, if I can get my hands on a sniper and a whole bunch of ammunition, we'll be well on our way towards building, well, the next version of our artillery mech, which we do, in fact, need. Switch to SRMs, too close, do not fire. Yeah, we're going to save that one because I'm going to kill the other one. So, Lament, if you wouldn't mind getting into a nice little fun sniper position like you do, because you happen to be really good at this, actually. Well, maybe not in finding covert sniper positions, but you know what? It's not the worst thing in the world. You can get shot at, you'll be fine, I'm sure. I also don't mind killing you, but the archer is... Yeah, it's a negative archer. So it's a really pathetic archer. Oh, just all kinds of pain. He did miss with one of them, which was kind of disappointing. I wanted to see him explode, and it, well, didn't end up happening. Again, not going to shoot that Heliopolis, because it is the good Heliopolis that I intend to steal, rob, borrow without asking, with absolutely no intention of ever returning. So we'll continue to rush the Charger on forward. The Charger will be in brawling range in each very short round, which will be great. Kerensky stick, if you actually have the range, you have incendiary MRMs, and you can actually get the ball rolling on this one. Gauss rifle off, turn on to the incendiaries, and yeah, we'll just do that. So enjoy, my little friend. How's the heat? We don't know, but we will find out eventually, and we're just going to rush on forward with the Thanatos as well. It has acid-only rounds, despite having an MML, multi-missiles, only a single type. Yeah, your heat is not all that high just yet, and we do need to, well, protect your one side, because that's going to be important. One of our racks has jammed, which is less than ideal. We prefer to have both of our racks firing, because it's the most hilarious outcome ever. However, the racks are now reset, and we can rock and roll with as much firepower as we crave. Archer slipping on forward, going to open fire with his missiles, but once again, he did actually manage to get a couple of decent shots in utilizing his medium lasers, but only a single missile managed to penetrate, despite the fact that he fired 21, probably would have actually hit us. The Thanatos' Pirate Laser AMS, the best laser AMS in the game, the best AMS in the game, managed to take care of all that. That howitzer missed, although did manage to nick some people over down here in the lower right-hand corner. But a good thing that he didn't manage to hit us direct, otherwise that would have been very painful. Pirate organized units as we cycle out to phase 11. It's gotta be you, right? I mean, you're the only one. Yes. Slipping down. Looks like he's got some heat problems. Ooh. Did you overheat and shut down? Am I that lucky? I can't find out with you because you need to brawl and engage and just murder. Murder, deaths, destructions, and I could go for that, but you know what? We're going to go full slug on this one. If I didn't, it'd be 91%. I'm going to Warlord it to increase the capabilities. 86s. Yes, that is most of what I wanted. He is now unsteady and at a total loss of evasion. Gonna slip in on over... What's closest? That's closest, plus, you know, direct line of sight. Hiya, buddy! Yeah, your heat is high, so let's send it even higher. Make sure that our AMSs are set, or our SRMs are set to Infernos, and light them up. And that's a Mech shutdown. Good job. He's lost his evasion and all of his bonuses. The Lament can probably actually keep the pressure on a little bit. In fact, by a little bit, I mean a lot. And just to open fire, because I want him dead. Ooh, pirate engine, I assume. Or some sort of XL or multi-location engine. Either that or we just got super lucky. And he is down and destroyed. We'll shift very slightly over into the hidden. And we'll be able to pop out of cover and engage next round. The Gauss Wolf, of course, is now going to sprint on after that very angry archer. And not too many lines of sight, actually. It's not tremendous. However, I will Warlord it or just keep the pressure on. Oh, it's not a negative. Huh. Well, it's got to be primitive. I'll just must not have the medium lasers for a couple of two hits with the Gauss rifles, which was kind of expected. 78% was pretty gosh darn good. The Thanatos can rush on forward, get a good direct line of sight from his perch up here. Not Hugh, but Hugh, and... Yeah, I'm going to lay down sensor lock. Probably isn't required, but a little bit of bonus never hurt anybody. And now we're going to, not you, but you, fire everything. And we managed to hit him quite nicely, and that looks like it completely blew up his primitive engine. So now we're just down to our single capture target, and hopefully the man is not feeling exactly happy with life. At least that's the plan. We're going to walk right up on here. We're going to target right over to your... How well armored are your arms? 70? I have a lot of damage, actually. Can I reduce the damage that I intend to deal? Did I blow his head off? No. No, the right torso exploded. Well, that's a shame. I kind of wanted to save that right torso because that right torso had the gun. So much for salvaging the gun. Well, we can salvage a couple of other things, obviously. Could pick up Heliopolis parts, but I'm probably not going to. Made 939,570, which is kind of disappointing. I was hoping to make over 1 million, but I guess that's what happens when I drop most of my heavies. By most, I mean everything except for the Warhammer. A whole bunch of cicada parts. 1, 2, 3, 4 cicada parts. That's not bad. We're not in the market for a cicada. Is that 5 archer parts? That is 5 archer parts. Lovely. Howitzer 2000. Me. Large laser quantity negative. No. None of these are useful to me at all. Probably should have gone full cash on it. Engine XL. Okay, that's worth money. I can sell that for things. Literally, that'll be the only reason I take it. I could take a rangefinder, no upgrade. I do need them. They are very good and important, but I'm probably not going to. Yeah, we're going to take the engine to sell. We managed to get the cicada part, a Heliopolis part, an Icarus part, as well as a pair of heat sinks. So we're going to sell that XL engine right away. After all, who needs it? We don't. We wish to build 2 brand new mechs. I need like 5.5 million C-bills for the Atlas and 1.6 million or something for my champion, which I'll build the champion first because the champion will be done sooner, and I like the champion more than the Atlas. because the Atlas is in the base game and the champion isn't, and the champion is my very favorite mech. So if you wanted the Atlas to be built first, well, tough noogies, because I'm going to be getting my champion first, because I've been lusting after this thing for years. A single day and 2,715 for the cash. 2.5 million Z-bills is lovely. We have 17 days before the end of the month, which means we're feeling pretty confident about this one. It was the Lament. It took a single damage, and the Marauder will be ready to go in 2 days. Is there anything in this Marauder? Am I going to have another build-up? No, we're not going to have quite another build episode. There will be at least one more mission in this episode. No worries. However, we do need to sail. We're going to go over to our heat where all the engines are located. Show me the XL. Yeah, get that piece of junk off my ship. Goodbye, XL engine. Thank you for giving me 325,000 C-bills. I could also sell the light engine, but I'm going to need it, I think, just in case. You never quite know. Alright, so I now have 2.7 million C-bills, so I'm going to go over to my mech bay right away, and I'm going to come over to my champion. Hello, my lovely, lovely champion. And we're going to try and rebuild it as fast as we possibly can, because I want to. Alright, so engines, we came over, cores, 300, and you're, of course, welcome to skip by this if you want. I could, I suppose, ignore it and, like, just pause the recording here and pick up on it, but I know some people have said that they would prefer that I show the build phase. I don't want the protocol, I just want the radical heatsink kit. Thank you. Also, we will need, I believe I went with Pharaoh and Standard Endo, because I didn't have, yes, that's how that worked. The gyro was a defense gyro to make sure that I could fit in the specialty equipment that I need, by which I mean a pair of medium lasers. So we need to add in lasers, thank you, mediums, thank you, 1 and 2, both are standard type. I could go to other types of lasers, but I kind of don't want to mess with the heat threshold just yet, or at least not for now. We need, of course, Gauss rifles, a heavy Gauss rifle, and then, of course, for our SRM, we take an MML-15 and we put it right there, like so. We go into ammunition, and in the ammunition slot, of course, we come up with a 2 tons of heavy Gauss ammo, double, because this gives us a full total of 10 rounds, which is just enough to make this work, I think, anyway. And then, of course, we come over to... Wait, did I rock you down to an SRM-6? I think I did. Possibly. Or did I go heavy Pharaoh? Heavy Pharaoh? I'm trying to work it out because I could have sworn I had managed to cram in a SRM. Give me acid. No, I think I'd gone down to 1 ton of ammo, which is very, very light for sort of what I need. But the reason why I'm considering this is because I do believe I managed to cram in an XL engine, or not an XL engine, but a Steel Clan, a electronic warfare kit, which, yeah, that's what ended up happening. So I do have that 2nd ton of ammunition, so SRM, and another ton of acids, because acid is hilariously effective, super flexible. You can use it for just about anything, because it just chews through armor and does, it feels like 1,010,000,000 critical. Plus 50% armor damage, minus 50% to structure, but who cares, because you're just, at that point, going for criticals, which can be a really good thing if you're trying to save a mech by critting out his engine. So it's a really solid, if you've only got one SRM ammunition type, you can use that pretty comfortably. So then also on top of that, because I only have 2 slots left, but that's perfectly okay. So that's all the ammo, that's all the weapons. So I need, of course, to come over to equipment, because I do need to equip a couple of things. And that's my electronic countermeasure systems. I do need 1.5 tons of stuff. And I was going for a Beagle probe, because I wanted to make sure that I had the capability to basically scan people. Unfortunately, it's going into the leg, which is, oh no, I'm going to move my acid ammo down there. Of course, it's less likely to explode. I'll put it all on one side just to make sure that it doesn't course over and hit my heavy Gauss rifle. Alright, so Heavy Pharaoh does not come with case, which is a little bit of a letdown, because I do very much enjoy case. I think case is a very useful piece of equipment to have. Dropping my arms down even further, although, can I go up? On 1 on each? Okay, 1 on each, so 61 instead of 70. It's light. It's really light. And actually, it may make sense. Let's do this. Go to 80. I know, going down to 80. I'm going to 81 on each of these legs, and these can come back up to 70, because you're more likely to get hit in the arms than you are in the legs. So it's a little bit tight. All right, then we come, of course, to cockpit weapon systems, and we are not utilizing our missiles. We are, in fact, using our flak targeting system for the improvement to the accuracy on the heavy Gauss rifle. It's short range, it's very powerful. If I can remove someone's evasion, I can make it work even better. I was very much considering throwing in a fire control system. Does give me +1 accuracy. That is indeed a thought. Oh, and it ignores an evasion, but yeah, this will make him less accurate at attempting. Oh, but also increases by recoil. But you don't have recoil, do you? You have a recoil of 2. This will give you 3 recoil. And also the alpha strike heat moves up. But you know what? I think I can work with that. I think I can force that to work. I just need to shut off a single or 2 medium lasers, or the risk MML, of course, which doesn't have to fire every round. You don't have to do it if you don't want to do it. Of course, I'm going to grab my range finder on this one. We're going to go for the ++. Do I need the ++? It's going to be a bit of a scout mech. A little bit, not too much, but somewhat. And then, of course, we need sensor recon. I would, of course, will go with the sensor tracker, but it's very much a mech that I want to get into close range, and if I'm having that -1 accuracy at short range, that may not be the most ideal thing ever. Although the +1 accuracy at medium range would be pretty nice. It basically halves all your penalties, but then gives you a penalty for short range, which is pretty good. Oh, do I want to save it? See, this is the one. This is the big question that has plagued me since the beginning of this. It does give me a sensor jammer, doesn't it? Provides additional sensor. ECM jammer reduces enemy sensors check. Yeah, it gives me a basic jammer. Alright, so 1.6 million C-bills to build, well, this interesting design. Other options, of course, came around to basically using normal Gauss rifles, or leaning a bit more heavily into the energy armament, or UX were definitely a thought of mine, and still are, actually. If I had a pair of Clan UX, I would... UX 5s, or I could just do normal Ultra 5s. I could have thrown them in here and just rapid fired everything to death. All the ammunition becomes a bit of a concern at that point. But yeah, we're going to lock that in. It'll be ready in 12 days. Our brand new champion. Looking forward to it. Alrighty. So, we, of course, are going to place it ahead of the Screamer. Sorry, Screamer, but you're too far out and you need too big of a rebuild. So we need to wait a couple of days for our pilots to get unfatigued. One more day. One more day for Omega, but you know what? Omega can hang out for a little bit. Need to check to see if that Marauder is actually built, and I don't think it is. No, it's not. It is a brand new structure, a 3R Marauder, equipped with no less than 2 ballistic, 4 energy, no missiles, and 2 normals. So it's, well, it's a normal Marauder. I will have to come up with something, but I'm not going to come up with that right now. We have apparently a ton of tonnage remaining, but it is a fairly solid 75-ton mech. Oh, by solid, I mean, dear God, this is one of the best 75-ton mechs ever out there because it's a Marauder. We're going to have to do something with it, I just don't know what. But it is now fixed, so it'll probably take another 12 days to actually build. I could go in with another heavy Gauss rifle, much like I ended up putting on the champion, but I want the champion to be somewhat special as we put in all the cool guns. Alright, quick check of our barracks in order to make sure that all of our pilots, none of them have leveled up, and one of them did! Oh, that's lovely. I could go to a base weapon hit, or an increase in evasion, or the 10% heat reduction, which is pretty huge, so we'll go with that. And that'll make Coach a more useful pilot, sort of in multiple roles. Howl is, of course, still fine. Jester is leveled up, and Jester's going to gain a little bit more. He's 9s across the board, so an overheat threshold, and I believe an extra injury, so that's great. Jester, clearly our best pilot by far, and keeping him alive is going to be very important as we continue to move forward. Everybody else is good, so let's hop on over to the command center and see about grabbing another mission. Clandestine research is very much tempting to me. Why? It pays out big. I could also take a liberation, which I would feel perfectly happy going maximum amount of salvage for a couple of reasons. One, it's a Tortuga mission, and by working with Tortuga, what they do is they're going to bundle a whole bunch more things, which I think may actually work very much in our favor. So what we're going to do is we're going to negotiate, and we're going to be fighting the local pirates, of course. That's the hard one. You're fighting the local pirates. It's like, well, I could get my hands on good equipment, or I could fight the local pirates. Clandestine research. Destroy base at 3.5 skulls. That might take a little bit too long. Both of them are actually pretty good. Although this one fights the Federated Sons. Oh, put that cash. I'll make about 900,000 C-bills if I do that. Put that cash money. We're fighting the Federated Sons. they're going to have good mechs and good gear for us to rob. So, of course, Ragatar, we of course need to grab the catapult Mech 3, and then I like the Lament as a bit of a backup, because Currency Stick and the catapult work really well together in order to just keep everything under control. Then we'll grab Death Crusade. I'm actually going to throw him... No, I need Finn in the catapult. Death Crusade can go in the Lament. The reason I want Finn in the catapult is because he's got Tactics 10, which means he generally moves first. We are about a week away from having our 8 mech slot. That's going to be so much fun, but not for now. Let's go drop in on a brand new mission and see if we can't cause a little bit of havoc, bringing the exact same lance as last time, with the exact same loadout as last time. Of course, the Ragatar is an amazing fire support platform. All I got to do is get it reasonably close to the enemy, and then it just unloads on them with ridiculous amounts of firepower. Throwing 12 shots at an enemy, even at a relatively poor accuracy, can be hugely effective when you're throwing AC-5 shells at them. This is not like a single missile that hits for, at most, like 12 damage. No, this is 45 damage per hit. So even if I hit once or twice, totally worth it. Also, the gun, well, I plan for it to jam every single time I fire it, but so far we've been pretty lucky with the gosh darn thing. Also, having a Gunnery 9 pilot really does help with all the gunnery abilities that are extra. However, I am going to hope to get some pilot up to Gunnery 10 soon so I can make sure I have the maximum accuracy. Anyway, clandestine research. We have long suspected there is a Davian research station hidden in the Lima system, and we have finally gotten wind of its possible location. We need a few brave and plausibly deniable mercenaries to secure a location for a dropship extraction of any valuable scientific personnel. This will be 417 priority salvage, 364,800 C-bills at 3 skill difficulty, so that's the hardest mission out there. However, we are about to probably take the 3.5, the 4 and higher level missions sometime soon, which will be all kinds of fun. That they're not going to drop all kinds of heavy firepower onto us. Kind of wanted to wait until I got up to that full 4 skull, or that 4-8 mech drop, just for old time's sake. But we probably actually don't have the, what would the word be? The luxury of attempting to do so. Although, if every single mission seems to go in the same way that the last one did, where only the Lament takes the bare bones amount of damage, then we are going to be in a very comfortable position, assuming, of course, we can get everything to work out. And just like that, it's night, but let's begin on this mission to see if we can cause a little bit of havoc. That is, of course... Oh, it's a city. No wonder it took so gosh darn long. Also, well, it failed load and we had to reload, but still... Alrighty, so dropping down into the middle of everything and getting all of the buffs, and while they got all of the buffs ongoing, we should be able to rock and roll. Is anybody stuck? Is anybody trapped? That is the first and foremost question that we must always ask ourselves when we first drop down to a planet, to see if I need to load this map again. So far, looking good. We need to locate a research station, which is located in the middle of a city, so clearly we are going to be attacking, well, the city, unfortunately. Yeah, I would very much not want to be in the city today. Despite the fact that the official assurances from the developers themselves that, in fact, every single one of these cars is abandoned, because that's what you do when a citywide evacuation is declared. You abandon your car. Yes. Okay, let's just continue to move on so we can get everybody onto the target. We, of course, brought our charger, which is going to hopefully do a lot of great damage in this wonderful concrete jungle. I have hopes and dreams for it that would allow it able to get into a close-range combat with somebody cool and annihilate them in the coolest of fashions, of course. Maybe even use its LBX autocannons to get an engine crit and thus save 8 engine parts. That'd be ideal, but I don't think... Or 8 engine parts? No. 5 mech parts. That way we could basically take a mech, buy it, and sell it. Just immediately off the mech. Although I am currently in the market for a rifleman, because I like the rifleman, and too many people have been insulting the rifleman lately. So we're going to see if we can't get our hands on one of those eventually, which would just generally increase the number of mechs that I, well, have in my disposal, and I'm currently not really using. Although I am going to be using that wonderful little Gauss rifle mech, especially once the 8th slot fills up, so that ought to be interesting. We may move away from capture attempts, and so that may actually put one of our catapults into sort of retirement. We're going to have to see where that one ends up going, although I suppose I could set it up so that I utilized Inferno ammunition inside my, my champion in order to give it a little bit more flexibility. You know, 1 ton of Inferno rounds, 1 ton of acid rounds. I just didn't want to be limited to that. I didn't want to run into a situation where I didn't have, well, damaging ammo. Because heat is nice and all, but heat really has to be used in a specific time and place. Got the Gauss Wolf. This is a fairly significant portion of heavy mechs that are all just ranging forward of the entire force. It's rather terrifying, actually. One of the things I could end up doing, though, at some point is ripping out that MML-15 entirely and swapping it for an MML-10. I lose 5 missiles, but I gain a ton and a half, which would be pretty gosh darn good if I can, you know, get my hands on the MML-10. I think I have one somewhere laying around. I'm just not sure where, but that might be the direction we move into. That'll give me another full ton and a half. At the very least, I can put in a CWS if I manage to get my hands on a Clan one, and that would just be a metric ton of control in terms of electronic countermeasure. As we continue to move across, yeah, we're about to move sort of up here in order to get shooting down firing lanes. The Charger actually probably should hang right up here in order to try and stay on the low ground, see if it can't manage to avoid getting actually located by the enemy, and that's probably what I'll have it do, assuming of course I can remember until the start of the next round that that's what I want to do. It's going to take a little while. The Lament, on the other hand, absolutely is moving along the back corridor. Why? It's got triple ERPPC, and it's demonstrated a hilarious amount of accuracy while utilizing them. Of course, I want it swinging around the background. The Gas Wolf also does really well in the back line. I probably should swap out those medium lasers for ER medium lasers. That would massively up the heat cost for that mech. However, the Gas Rifles are generally the main selling point for it anyway. I'll have to look about swapping out the heatsink kit as well, because if it's currently using a Radical Proto, or just a Radical heatsink, then there's nothing that can be done. However, if it is utilizing, say, just a double heatsink, I might be able to look into trying to get my hands on either a Royal double heatsink kit, which has a 5% energy weapon heat reduction, or throw in the Radical, which has, well, the Cool and Flush, which is just the coolest thing ever for an amount of control. So we're going to continue to rush off to the side. Should be able to pop up on top of everybody soon. Unfortunately, we have been located by the Heavy Calliope. That is not good, because I do need to destroy that thing before it can actually shoot me. Catapult! I need you forward, and I need you forward quickly. Oh, you have multiple targets. That's even worse. We have the Heavy Calliope, and we have the Heavy Point Defenster, which means I'm not getting through. No missiles shall be fired in the following rounds. We're going to have to do something about that. We're going to have to do something about that fast. So sprint first things first. I can get an obstructed line of sight, or I could continue to move to the side. I think I will go for the best line of sight that I can manage. And this is it. Come on, Lament. 61% is not ideal. Do you have any sort of negatives in terms of, you know, targeting? No, so just fire. 1, 2, 3. I don't know if we hit all 3 of them. I don't think we did. And just to kind of double check, make sure we didn't shoot the back of the Charger. We did. Good job. Sometimes you have to wonder, are my people working for me, or are my people in fact working for the Davians? Which I suppose if anybody's going to be basically paying off my people, it's going to be the Davians. Fire a couple of long-range Gauss rifle shots, managed to miss one but hit the other. So, less than ideal. We need to get more heavy metal onto the field, and soon. I could swing in through there, but I am going to move my Kerensky stick around the corner. Why? Because I prefer to be higher up on the ground. Thanatos is a similar problem. Although if the Thanatos sticks close to you, the Heavy Calliope may not be able to actually get anything through, which would be ideal. Jester, where be ye? The Rakatar is following rather close behind. I'm not willing to place the health and safety of... Well, maybe I am. Depends on the accuracy. It's not good. No. I'm not willing to shoot the back of the Charger so many times that it becomes basically worthless. Luckily for me, it looks like the artillery is not being particularly effective and is bombarding most of the city instead of me, which I'm feeling to be a rather great use of their heavy firepower. I've made this joke already, but you know what? I'll probably keep making it until it's... well, until I forget about it, honestly. I was about to say until it stops being funny, but was it ever funny? It might have been, but probably not. Let's continue to shift on around to the side. We have located multiple turrets at this point. So we have our Heavy Calliope, the Mortar, which is less than ideal, Heavy Point Defense, and the Gauss Rifle emplacement, which happens to have a Gauss Rifle in it. Oh, that's lovely. Show me the Heavy Point Defense. Let's see if I can't actually break through it. Oh, a surprising number of missiles actually did manage to penetrate its defenses. That's pretty impressive. Okay, the Lament. I need you to do that again, except this time I need you to not shoot friendlies. Do you think you can manage it? Oh, better than manage it. He managed to get every single shot onto that Calliope without too much worry. Paradox. Time to bring forward the Charger. And this is actually going to work out quite nicely for the Charger because I want to be firing everything in cluster mode. I probably shouldn't bother firing both of them, but I'm going to. Oh, the crits. The crits, so lovely. Alright, so we now can move Kerensky stick on forward as well. We've dealt with the Calliope that we can see. We do need to knock out that point defense turret sometime soon, because I don't want to have to deal with it for much longer. It's going to be shooting down a lot of my missiles. I have a lot of, well, I have a couple of missile-based mechs. Pretty much everybody's packing some I have a significant number of mechs that pack some form of missiles, although Howl, well, not deliberately, it was not intentional that was the original build, but eventually it came out to being a non-missile mech, so it wouldn't be shut down. That was part of my explanation to myself as to why I wasn't utilizing such a wonderful piece of technology. Is this I think you can cross that. I'm not entirely sure, though. However, I will try and sprint on through the forest. Or will I not? You know what? No, I won't. I will continue to move up behind the rest of the force and prepare to utilize my Rack 5s in some sort of awesome defense the moment I manage to actually get a target. More mortars not being particularly effective, which is lovely, as the enemy has to cycle through all of their equipment. I'm not actually seeing any sort of actual mechs, which is concerning, because I came here to steal mechs. And if there aren't any... Oh, there it is. That's my target. Okay, the reinforcements are probably on the way now. Now that they have activated on that, yeah, just triple fire with the gas rifle. Managed to get a hit at least. Not the most efficient use that we've ever done, but we're working on it bit by bit. Just going to run the catapult on forward. I'm not going to actually utilize any sort of its weaponry because it's basically just a waste of time, heat, and ammunition. And we'll continue to pressure this way or pressure this way. Oh, that'll work. That'll work great. That'll be grand. Shift myself right on in here. I do have a line of sight on the gas emplacement. We are being jammed probably by the point defense emplacement, so we do want to sort of deal with that sort of as soon as we can, but it's going to require a decent angle to show up. Oh, there's a dropship on the way. That's not good. Well, to be expected. A dropship always lands outside the research facility. So there's that. Yeah, definitely working with a little bit of jamming problems going on here. Should be able to handle it, I assume, anyway. Or maybe all hell will break loose. We'll find out in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. And Mockingbird, you're up next with Karenski's Stick. You have a bit of ground to cover, but that's... Oh, you can see it. Hi. Yeah, we're just gonna flush all our heavy arms in here. Do me a favor, don't blow up this emplacement thing here. Also, do me a favor and don't shoot my friends in the back, which you may have done. Let's go check to see if they haven't. Oh no, you're good. Okay, lovely. So we did manage to blow up the Gauss rifle emplacement, which is always a comfortable feeling to be in. Because now I don't need to worry about that at all. But I do need to find, well, more things to blow up. Namely that turret somewhere around here. There it is. That one there. Because once that explodes, the enemy will not have any point defense in order to defend against my awesomeness. We'll just run it forward. May as well keep the pressure on. I do want to sort of recover some stability damage sometime soon. More mortar fire, not able to connect with us, so slamming on into the office buildings around the area. I can't help but imagine that's a very negative tactic to try and win. Like, at what cost? What cost is the one that you're willing to pay? Okay, shifting on over to the water, get our temperature fully under control, and to a PPC. Well, triple PPC, and all three of them did manage to hit the dual mortar, so already he is in trouble. So I just need to keep a little bit more focused fire down onto the target, and unfortunately nothing coming on in through there. So I'm just going to shift on around. I will attempt to get my missiles on through, so we're going to spend a little bit of that heat and ammunition. Mainly so I could, well, break through all of his armor, and now he's incredibly vulnerable. I do worry about fast cam rounds, so I could actually sort of just position myself around this corner. But if I kept running, I could locate that, and that would be more ideal. Alright, so we are going to now target the heavy point defense, and I'm going to switch both shells back on over to my slug rounds, because I want to get some good penetration on all this. We're going to warlord it as well for the additional damage. I managed to nail him both times, so that's most of his armor now gone. So feeling pretty happy about that one. If the Thanatos can... Ah, the Thanatos can get that corner. And that means I can now fire the silver bullet heavy. And we managed to shatter that one. We've got one more to take down, and that's just the single point defense turret, which will just basically line ourselves right up outside the zone. Don't want to trigger anything just yet. And there goes the point defense turret. Alright, so every single one of the defensive turrets has been dealt with. Feeling pretty confident in that one. Although I was expecting more threat, danger, challenge, I suppose would be the proper word for that one. Because, come on guys, I didn't exactly come here for a walk in the park. I came here with all the salvage that I could possibly get my hands on. So if that's the only thing that's coming here, this was a bit of a wasted trip. I mean, not an expensive trip in terms of equipment, but... Okay, we have not pacified the research station. You know what? Catapult, just keep running. We don't have anything in the line of sight just yet, which is somewhat concerning. because I would like to find the enemy. Death Crusade fully chilled out after a single round of sitting in the water. I love it, I really do. Because it meant that he didn't have anything to worry about. Okay, the Charger can basically walk in on here. And position. So taking it with the Charger, I really like this Charger. It's something that I really feel fond of, actually. I think I've created something great. Not amazing, but great. Twin AC-20s, LBX AC-20s to be precise, packed in with a 400 ready fusion core, really good armor. I mean, that's just such a great combination. I think it can stand tall. Normally I kind of try and avoid, well, lately I've been thinking about trying to avoid utilizing like big AC-20s in super heavy mechs like this. Well, not super heavy, but assault level mechs. Basically anything that's not particularly fast, which qualifies most assaults. And it was just one of the great excuses I could have used to slot one in there. Alright, we do have hostile reinforcements oncoming. And we don't quite know where they are, but they're going to make their presence known, I'm sure, and it's going to be quite painful once they do. I can't imagine there isn't at least 1 or 2 heavies along for the ride. Probably Heliopolis's too. Although it is Davian, and I'm not really sure. Oh, there. Okay, Stinger is not exactly making me think. Firestarter. Oh, okay then.
Yes, Commander.
Right. Oh well, I guess I'll move the catapult on in. Oh, what are you? Oh, you're the Firestarter. Well,
no shooting,
anything else? Oh, a champion. Okay. And a cataphract. Oh, even better. We're going to steal the cataphract. I already have a champion. I love the champion, and it's an amazing mech, don't get me wrong, but we're going to steal a cataphract. So I'm going to set these over to listen kill us Rems. You do have a light PPZ, which does make you pretty impressive, actually. All things considered, you are phenomenal as a Stinger. I'm going to give you a little bit of a sensor light to try and remove some of your phenomenalness. And 48%, that might do it. And we took out his right arm. There goes his right leg, his right everything, and he's going onto the ground. And as we head towards the cataphract, we are going to kill you. Sorry, buddy, but you're out of the fight. So the cataphract as well, we're stealing the champion would be something we should probably work towards too, but it might be a better idea just to completely annihilate it, because that way it won't clutter up the loot table. Aim for the center torso, triple tap. And there goes the Stinger. 25% has already been destroyed. So next up is the Firestarter. The Firestarter is going to be a little bit harder to kill for obvious reasons. Firestarter's 35 tons versus the Stinger's, I believe, 20 tons? 25 tons? 25 tons. I think there's much fewer number 25 tons, I believe. We do, of course, need the Charger to come charging through these buildings because that's what it's designed to do. Also, I want to punch somebody. I really, really want to punch somebody. Because if I can, then I can manage to fire both of the AC-20s at the same time. And, well, that'll be a level of fun that it will be difficult to quantify. Ooh. You have an indirect fire weapon? And you're a champion? You have an LRM-5. Who does this? No? Who fired the 5? Wasn't you? Is there a 5th mech out there? No, there can't be. Just don't think there can be. If I position myself right here, I could probably actually get a little bit of good fire on in to the target. So actually what I'm going to do is, how much health? You have no health at all. That'll be great. This is the plan. So the plan, of course, is to maul the target the cataphract, target the building. You go to Bravo and switch these over to incendiary rounds. I know the accuracy isn't there, but you know what? This is just a start. A taste of all the funds, and also we get to, layer damage all over the place. 84 heat, and the heat is critical already. The stability is bad, and let's knock down the building because I'm sort of trying to shorten my path a little bit as we continue to move on through here. The Thanatos is actually going to utilize a similar concept, except instead of firing his silver bullet Gauss, which could, kill him, or at least kill friendlies, 100 health. Turn these on, turn the silver bullet Gauss off because it'll spread damage, and just knock down this building so I can go through here in the next round. I realize I may have become the bad guys in this scenario, but you know what? I want to make sure the Kerensky stick can actually get onto the target. The Rakatar can move into a couple of interesting positions. I'd prefer to be... that'll do. Position myself right like so. Target you. The accuracy is not exactly great or anything to write home about, but I'm going to set the Rakatar up at maximum volume of fire. Because 37% of 12 shots is 4 shots, and he's a fire starter. Let's be honest with ourselves. I mean, can you blame me for thinking this is one of the best mechs we've ever built? Okay, catapult. See if you can't get a line of sight on top of him. You can. That'll be great. Move as close as you possibly can. You're going to have to use more incendiaries. And... yeah, give him the heat. Oh shoot, that wasn't heat. Crap. He isn't steady, but I do not want to engage him. The Gauss Wolf can actually walk up and punch you. I'm on 23. Howl, reserve. Because I need, honestly, none of these mechs.
Commander.
The Racketar is even too pretty good. Reserve, I need Mockingbird. Oh, is this a champion movie? I always love watching this champion trying to do this. This is the pretty cool, the Clanbuster champion that has the LB-10 autocannon, which is pretty fun. I thought about building it as like a classic hot rod, but I was like, that's not gonna that's not gonna be enough. Not in the world that we're currently fighting in. Run a little bit on closer. Do not target with the Gauss rifle. Keep it on incendiaries. I'm a little bit disappointed you jammed this because that could actually prevent me from getting all the heat that I need. Okay, 84 heat. That might be enough. That's going to be borderline. He's going to be on the back, though. Not quite. So, less than ideal. Thanatos is also going to rush on in. Again, we're going to try and do as little damage to the target as possible. It's going to take quite a bit of action to preserve the mech, honestly. So we're going to basically ignore fighting with anybody else. This is a full capture attempt. I could try and strip out the champion, but I kind of want to try and steal the champion too. So I'm just going to run right on up here.
Going full throttle.
Hey, if I were to shoot your head, it'd be an 8.3. Yeah, that's not enough. So we're being extra dangerous on this one because I don't want to lose it. So I've got a lot of people running forward. A lot of people running forward. Like, we could kill this guy in no time at all, but we want to steal the mech, and that's the key. Rack's unjammed. He can basically rock and roll and kill with anything he wants. Cataphract standing once again. He overthrew most of his armor, which is not good. He's going to be able to turn and fire his ultra autocannons. Does he have ultras or just normal autocannons? I kind of think he has ultras. So he's the lesser version of what we're doing. The other type of ballistic super mech that I've been thinking of is if I could get 4 Rack 5s or 4 Ultra 5s onto a mech, that might be enough in order to, you know, wipe somebody completely out. All right, you're gonna run forward. You're gonna not get too close, but pretty close. And where's Finn? Finn rolled a 24. Wow. Give me Finn.
Standing by.
He will do the least amount of heat. The least amount of heat? Indeed, the least. Alright. Up close and personal. Turn off those. Set them to Infernos. We want to do 1 damage and we're going to cook a little bit.
Fire.
Don't penetrate. Don't penetrate. Don't penetrate. 190 heat. That's a mech shutdown. And we're starting to cook a little bit. Howl. May just want to punch him in the back. You know what? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to walk up behind you with the Timberwolf. And we're going to go swinging. So the clan for the minus initiative. Coach in the Thanatos is going to walk on forward. And as much as I wanted to be able to punch and shoot at the same time with the charger, I am going to attempt to rob them of their mech. And the champion can do whatever it wants for now. I will be back for you, little champion. Don't worry, we will light you on fire. Although, again, it might be the better idea to just annihilate you. Because if you're annihilated, then you can't ruin my plans. Reserve. Right, Mockingbird. Take aim. At the leg. With all your MRFs. We're doing like 90 damage. You have enough health to handle that. Okay. Or is that 90? It's 90 damage per. You have enough health to handle that, I think. Try not to cause too much damage. Okay. Structure exposed. Plus 177 heat. Come on, pilot. You want out of the mech. Bail. Get out of the bloody mech. Why are you in this thing?
Ready for orders.
Jester's Racketar honestly could get into a duel with it, whatever it wanted, and probably win, because it is kind of that good. Running a little bit more jamming board going on. Paradox? Yeah, no, not Paradox. Paradox is not the one I want stepping on it. That would be bad. Barracks is the one mech that really should be avoiding melee. Shooting that leg again? Or the arm? Let's shoot at the arm, because your missiles do less. Don't blow it up. Ah!
That's a kill.
Why? I worked so hard for it. Stand still. You get your unit control next round, it'll be fine. Mockingbird. Alright, time to go hunting for a champion. I did work hard for that.
Full speed.
I moved all of my people into the right position, but no.
Right here.
Had to set off the ammunition. Couldn't just play nice with everybody. We had to ruin it. Could have gotten a cataphract. I like cataphracts. Cataphracts are fun mechs. They're Franken mechs, basically, because they were one of the first rebuild mech designs during, I believe it was the 4th Succession War? I believe Lau came up with them, and basically it's just a Franken mech, a whole bunch of different mech parts put together into one rudimentary design that works, but is not exactly the most amazing thing in the world. I saw penetration. Who had penetration?
Not much armor left in that location.
Who took a penetrating
Armor
hit?
left and right here.
Oh, it was the building, right? Okay, okay. I got you. No worries on that. Come on through with the charger, so the charger can do a little bit of fun work. And Jester in the Rakadar. If Jester wants, he can just utterly end this. That's the long and the short of it.
Roger that.
If Jester wants, he can just hold down the trigger, the enemy will disappear. They will cease to be a problem in, well, a very short period of time. I need to get your heat under control, and I will do that by running this round and not shooting anybody this round. Paradox.
Yes, Commander.
Can... Reserve.
Waiting for the right move.
Reserve, I need Mockingbird. Give me Mockingbird. Mockingbird's right there, right? Yeah, that should be in front.
Copy
Okay.
that.
So sprint around the corner. Into his front if... Ooh, what is you? Your collection, okay. I don't need as much to worry about that, but that is something that I would prefer not to end up being set off. But I moved around to the front of the mech because champions are not exactly super well endowed with heavy armor. Bog standard champions tend to be lightly armored, to say the least.
Ready for order.
So I would need to get my hands... I would need to get that under control before I wanted to start aiming for side armors with heavy MRMs. They're not as ideally suited for captures as Infernos are, because Inferno SRMs I can pretty easily handle a target because they don't deal really any damage. Heavy MRMs, on the other hand, they deal a pretty decent amount of damage. You know, I'm just gonna run right up in front of you so you can understand exactly what it is you're dealing with. You may want to get out of the mech. I would highly advise it. So, or if he misses, he might set off the coolant explosion. That would be bad. If he was smart, he'd set off the coolant explosion, because he'd realize that what my goal is to get him to bail out of the mech. I think he hit the coolant, and not me.
Reporting. Serious armor loss.
No, definitely hit me. Right, ammunition explosion avoided, but your temperature core is way overheating at this moment. So we'll have you under control soon.
On my way. Double time.
Your mech is going to be offline. There's nothing you can do about it. And I have bought myself several days extra of repair time, which is a bit unfortunate, but I'm going to go with necessary on this one. Alright, Paradox managing to win. Death Crusade beating. Finn coming up at 24 once again.
Orders.
Kind of surprised that Finn is only at 24 when those two pilots were able to roll so much better. Alright, come on in. Inferno SRMs. This is going to be the torture. And a torched 201 heat. Oh, that's lovely. Alright, Coach. Run around to the back with a Thanatos. Give him a bit of... this one. I said this one. Give him the boot.
10-4.
And... structure exposed. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's super light on armor.
Yes.
Alright, Mockingbird. Take aim. At his face. Incendiaries. Come on, Pilot Bell. He's panicking. Oh, that's what I want. That's what I want. Stand still. Howl. You too can walk over and punch him in the right side, yes. Come on, Pilot. Bail out of the mech.
Commander.
Well, really, it's just positioning yourselves for the execution. So everybody just hold. You're good. We're fine. The battle has to be won by Finn, or, well, unfortunately, after that, Mockingbird will kill it. Let's be honest with ourselves. Mockingbird will absolutely kill it. Paradox, no. Finn, yes.
Yes, Commander.
Finn is going to stand right in front of it to ensure the most amount of spread going on, because I don't want to actually kill the mech.
Target towards Alpha.
And 200 and something heat.
Reporting critical.
And he's out. Okay. Lovely. So we can grab potentially the champion. Unless there was any real good gear on the ground, and I kind of don't think there was. We did take a lot more armor damage than I otherwise would have preferred, obviously, because, you know, we took that AC-10 shell right to the torso, which was less than ideal, but it is something that we're going to sort of have to work around. We'll have to see. A lot more damage than I was expecting, though. In fact, if we had wanted, we could have taken almost no damage on that mission, because we absolutely had it in our capabilities to wipe out everybody with minimal amount of effort. Unfortunately, that didn't end up happening. So 216, yep, and the Kerensky stick, of course, taking a pretty nasty chunk. The rest of the mech's doing fairly well. The Charger took a little bit of a nasty hit as well. Unfortunately, the cataphract part not being everything I want. Advanced AMS, Core 300s are pretty good, actually. I could grab another one. They're always useful. Double Gauss ammo is always fun. I have 3 of them, so I think I'm good. I think I'm going to grow for the champion. See if I can't manage to finagle my way to getting another one. I'll sell it, but I do think this will be the best attempt to get money. And 1, 2, 3... Nope, the champion part has managed to disappear randomly. We got the LB10X autocannon, which is nice. That puts me up to 5 of them, which is solid. Got the double heatsink kit, which I may end up selling for a little bit of additional cash. Got some slug ammo for the AC-10s, which puts me up to 5 of those as well. How much ammo is in a slug? 10 shots, so yeah, that's pretty good. Didn't get the fusion core, that would have been nice. And also, would have preferred to have gotten that last champion part. But 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Stinger, and then the last champion part just vanished into thin air. Always a bit of a disappointment when that happens, because you kind of really want to get your hands on that awesome gear. But I suppose I can't blame my employer too much for wanting to get their hands on it. It's also a shame it wasn't bundled like it was last time, where it was 2 and 2 and 1. Was it 2 and 2 and 1, or was it 2 and 3? I think it was 2 and 2 and 1. So when you can get bundled mech parts like that, especially a heavy mech, that's awesome. But yeah, we're going to sell this champion parts. I have a champion. It is an N2 champion that they have here, but I don't think that has a built-in royal. In fact, I know it doesn't have a built-in royal double heatsink kit. It's a clan buster, which means it comes with a double heatsink kit and a couple of other specials, but it's not all that special. I mean, it's a champion, which makes it ultra awesome, but it's not that special. Heliopolis part we sell, because if we're going to get a Heliopolis, we're going to get the whole thing in one go. So yeah, the N2 is the Clan Buster. The heatsinks has the double heatsinks, and it's mostly Starlink tech. So it would be nice. I may save it just for a little while, and then sell it at the end. That might be the way to go. It's so interesting how almost empty this is. Because yeah, ours also on 1 and 2. Okay, then yeah, it doesn't, if that's the case, then it doesn't have it. So we'll sell that. Yeah, we made 2.4 million Seabills. Not bad at all. So we actually did make about as much cash as we would have made had we taken that one for full salvage, or for full cash. So I don't really feel too bad about that at all. The catapult and the charger and currencies, we're having a couple of them that are pretty rough on that. So what I'm going to do is that. And that way I'll get a couple more days of working on the champion to be able to turn that around into an actual mech to field. So 6 days until my champion, 3 days until the command console, 11 days until the end of the month. We need about 5 million Seabills, plus the cost of the end of the month, in order to start working on this master of a machine, if we decide what we want to do with it. I really do think I kind of want to move into the Gauss and the heavy MRM40. I think that'll be probably the better solution, although I could just go like maximum energy build. Kind of don't want to, just because it feels a little bit weird. But I think that the build we ended up deciding on was 2 Clan ER large lasers, a Gauss rifle, an MRM40, and like 2 medium lasers or something like that. And then we crammed that in with a whole bunch of other gear. Although, we're not going to have the Clan Endosteel, because I had to throw the Clan Endosteel into my champion so I could get on the Heavy Pharaoh for the additional the Beagle probe in order to make it more accurate. So that'll be some interesting work to finagle. And of course we have this Marauder, which I don't know what to do with just yet. I may go for pulse lasers and a Gauss rifle, sort of replacing the Pulsabolt. The accuracy of the pulse lasers will be the same. I'm losing... What will I be losing? Do you have a Clan XL built? You do have a Clan XL built in, which does give you a lot more utility than otherwise might be. But yeah, I can probably just throw in 4 pulse lasers and the silver bullet Gauss rifle. And that would probably actually be a pretty solid core to build from. Because the silver bullet Gauss... Rip the silver bullet Gauss rifle off the Warhammer, of course. Unless I've got an extra one. But that would allow it to be either a brawler or a long-range fighter, depending on what we planned on doing with it. Although we'd probably want clan pulses, but that is kind of neither here nor there. But that's going to do it for today's episode, folks. I have been Tarek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. Before I see a notification every time I post one of these videos, press the little bell icon, leave a comment, and make sure that you join us for our streams on Wednesdays and Saturdays, which I believe is, in fact, today at 4 o'clock over at twitch.tv/Tarek117, so you can join the adventures of Apollo's Vipers, a clan-starred version of this campaign, which has been just absolutely blasting its way through the enemy and managing to get quite a bit of cool stuff in the meantime. And I will see you all in the next episode.